I'm Tracy McDonald and welcome to Mare Branch Pottery. Join me today for a tour of my pottery studio and my kiln shed and watch as we make a carrot mug on the wheel. So come along with me as I do what I love to do, which is make pottery and garden and grow food. I'm not good at all with social media, so it might be a minor miracle if anyone besides my immediate family ever sees this, but I hope you do. So for years and years, I did not have a dedicated space to make pottery. Sometimes I'd have a little space in a garage, which was great till the middle of winter. Sometimes I had a little tiny bit of a sunroom. Once I worked in my own kitchen, tiny area. And as potters know, you need a lot of space for just the wheel, for the mess you're going to make, for the dust, oh, it's terrible. So I'm super excited to have this space. Keep in mind that this space also stores all of our worldly belongings because we're in the process of building a house, and laundry and pottery and. So forgive me, it's a lot. Okay, here we go. Doors open. Eventually I'm going to close this up, but there's my laundry and my canning. So I can heat and cool it. I have a sink all to myself. It's a hot mess right now. I'm also drying basil from the garden. It's supposed to freeze Monday night, and so I'm trying to collect as much as I can from the garden before that happens. I've got my Cricut machine. I've got a laminator. Oh, such a mess. This is where I do all my engineering. Oh goodness, all kinds of stuff. I got pots drying over here. I'm working on white and brown clay, mostly is what I work with. A red clay. It's kind of a red-brown. I've got some Mako glazes for decoration, but I use a white liner. I've got a few things still drying. So, and my wheel here is in the center. I've had this wheel. I bought it used. I've had it forever. It is a work horse, and I absolutely love it. My fancy schmancy kiln shed. Again, not finished, but I managed this fall to get a new kiln with a computer, and I'm super excited. It's a GenKen, and the people at GenKen have been very helpful. I'm very familiar with Scott, but GenKen has not been on my radar, and I'm super happy with it so far. So I've got my GenKen set up. I've got all my bisqueware sitting over here, ready to glaze, which is what I'm going to start later today or maybe tomorrow. I've got some stuff on my Etsy store. It's on these shelves right here and down there. I'm sort of spilling over at this moment. I got some things that didn't work out so well. I have all my test tiles with the colors so that I know what the heck is working out and what the heck is not. And then I've got some things here that are finished, but that I have not yet put onto the Etsy store. Super cool, right? Okay. Got a dirty towel. I like to cover my legs to keep it off my pants best I can. And there's lots of different ways to throw pots. So I don't want you to feel like, I've been doing this for over 30 years. Gosh. Just over 30 years. And so I need the old lady glasses so I can see what I'm doing. So I don't want you to feel like how I throw pots is the way to throw pots, because there's many ways to throw pots. Everybody's a little different. actually drying my mug. It's simply taking the stickiness out of the outside of the mug so I can use my dry hands to lift it, since I've already cut it off the wheel. So I can lift it gently and set it on my board, just like that. Hi guys, it's the late afternoon of Saturday, the next day. This cup that you saw me make yesterday has been drying all day, and it just wasn't drying. So I finally turned on the air conditioner in the shed to get it to dry, because I was mentioning yesterday, things have to be the right moisture level for stuff to work, and if you try to trim this too soon, you're just going to gouge your cup and it's not going to trim right. So I ended up waiting. It's like 4:30 in the afternoon. It took all day, which is unusual. This is my stamp, Mare Branch Pottery, backwards. So I'm going to take off my clay that's holding things on. Put a little tiny bit of water right here and let it be. This is my cup. Turned out real nice. It feels nice and light. Doesn't feel heavy and bottom heavy. It looks pretty even all the way around. I like to take, this is one of those 3M sticky foot pads for furniture. I like to take this, drop it inside, center it, and then I wrap my ring around so I don't scratch things. Put my hand in here like this so that my knuckles are pressing against that felt pad in the bottom. It depends on the cup, the shape, the size, whether or not you can get your whole knuckles in there. Sometimes you have to use your fingers. And then I'm going to take my stamp. Now I'm not just pressing down onto the cup with no support. My hand is in there, the felt pad is in there, taking up the pressure so that you don't damage the bottom of the cup. I bring out the pad, I remove my stamp, flatten out that bottom again, and look how nice. Mare Branch Pottery. We're going to put a handle on this cup. I made my handle earlier. I like to make these textured handles, and I have a fancy little piece of plastic that helps me do that. Nothing commercial, just something I found. But I like to make my handles out of this. They feel nice, they look nice, they give your cup a little something. You're going to need a brush and some kind of scoring tool. You can use a scoring needle. You can use one of these guys with the little teeth, whatever you like. And I like to cut my handles on an angle like this way, like half a heart, okay? I like to test them and see, oh, it's a nice big one, but it's a little too big. So I'm gonna take a little more off. Test it again. What do you think? Oh, that's much better. Much better. Because I think I like it to be up just a little bit higher like that, like half a heart. All right, so we move this stuff out of the way. I'm going to hold it where it is, make a little mark. And I'm going to score those two spots. Really deep, nice and deep marks. And put some clean water on my score marks, okay? Now, I'm going to score my handle. Sideways, cross-hatching, another art term, cross-hatching, cross-hatching. Don't just score a little, score a lot, okay? Then I'm going to wet those two spots. I'm going to press these together with some effort. Not enough effort that it damages or distorts my handle, but enough that it's going to stay on there. The worst thing in the world is for this stuff to dry and then to just fall off, okay, because you haven't pressed down hard enough. So go ahead and press that down. I like to smooth out around with my fingers first. I like to make sure I like the shape. I like to look down at it. It's a little crooked and make sure it's not crooked. See that? Much better. You can see it from this way as well, straighter. And then I like to take my brush and I like to paint just the damp brush all the way around. All right, so here's my cup inside on the bottom. Good morning. It's cold. The other thing besides pottery that I absolutely love is my garden. And tonight it's supposed to be like 26 degrees, which is going to kill off a lot of stuff in my garden. I spent hours yesterday raking pine straw to cover up what I could in the garden. Some of it should be fine. I have broccoli and cauliflower, but I've never grown that before, so I just don't know. So I'm going to mulch really well today, and I just wanted to share with you what happens. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of my November fall garden in North Florida. It still looks pretty amazing, but it's not going to tomorrow afternoon. So here we go. Here's where you enter the food garden. So, I mean, look at this broccoli. Now, I've never grown broccoli. Oh, look. Oh, look. There is a teeny tiny broccoli head in there. Oh, I'm so excited. That's the first semblance of actual broccoli I've seen. Oh, it's in there. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. Look at that. Oh, I'm so excited. So obviously, I don't want this to die. I don't think it will. It's rated to like 27 degrees and it's supposed to be like 26 degrees. So I think it's going to be okay. But I'm going to mulch. I've got the pine straw here to mulch it anyway. What I really want to save is this pumpkin. This is a fancy French pumpkin. Look at that. It's bigger than my hand. And I've got a number of them. I mean, this thing just goes crazy. And I have a lot of pumpkins from the summer, so it's not like I need this, but it's already halfway there, so come on. I mean, it goes over there. That giant mound of pine straw is where this plant started its life, and it's come all the way over here to make its pumpkin. My basil's all going to be gone tomorrow, but that's okay. I've picked tons of it. I am going to pick some beets today. These are beets, and I'm going to pick some beets because the beets really, according to the interwebs, really only do well up until like 28 degrees, and after that they kind of die off. So I'm going to mulch these too and pick a couple that are big enough to eat. I learned that I love beets. Who knew? Gross, right? But they're good. They're sweet. You roast them in the air fryer and they're so good. These are my cauliflowers. I've never grown before either. I haven't seen anything yet that looks like a cauliflower, but let's look. Oh no, maybe there's something, not yet. Well, maybe at the very bottom. It's hard to tell. I don't know, I'm just excited they're growing, so I want to keep them alive. These guys were sort of in between, not as hardy as the broccoli, but they should do all right, but I'm going to mulch them as well. My husband and I don't eat too many onions. Look at these chives. They went insane, and I did the wrong thing, and I planted them all together. The little pod of chives I got, I guess I was supposed to separate them. Didn't do it. And then over here is my cabbage I accidentally bought, and I have no idea what to do with these. I'm just going to cover them and hope for the best. The deer have eaten some of the leaves off. I've been catching the deer here in my garden in the middle of the night, sometimes early in the morning. Little boogers. They're hungry. See their footprints? That's their footprints. Yeah, they just come in and have what they want. They're here as well. I've already covered up my strawberries. There's more pumpkins. And everything else really is going to die off, and that's okay. My alyssum, this is a wonderful flower that brings in lots of pollinators, and you plant it in the early spring, and then it dies off in the middle of our hot Hades-like summer, and then it comes back in the fall. It's so pretty. All right, guys, here's the cup that we've been making. It's now mostly leather hard, maybe a little softer than leather hard, but the handle's on. It's been drying overnight, and we're going to turn that cup into this mini cup's match. Okay, so we have to add these carrots to this blank cup now with designer liner. I like Mako's designer liner. I got into this, and I think it's super fun to use. They generally recommend that you use this on bisqueware because the little tiny tip can get clogged, but I've been using it on greenware without any trouble whatsoever. I just keep this little pin in the tip anytime I'm not using it. I don't let it sit open for any length of time without that pin in the top to keep it from drying out and getting clogged. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to set this in front of me so I can look at it while I'm drawing. And I'm just going to take a pencil and I'm going to kind of draw out my design first. You'll notice that I've got a little tiny carrot in the middle. I'm going to make it similar, but not exactly the same. So I'm going to start in the center. I'm going to do a real rough kind of little sketch of what my carrots are going to look like. Maybe put one here over at the edge. They're going to be overlapping for the most part. I'll do another medium-sized one right here, and where they come, and maybe one more kind of smallish one here on the end. Let's make sure it's still in the center. That pretty much is. And it's nice to do this in pencil very lightly, because if you don't like it, you decide, that's not quite right, then you can always fix it, okay? And I'm gonna do some messy carrot tops. And I'm not sure if I've balanced this out enough over here, so I'm gonna add a little extra weight to this side just to make sure my composition is balanced. And you'll see that, I'm not gonna hit exactly everything with the designer liner like I have it, but it's a good sketch to get me started. All right, shake this up. I'm going to take it to make sure that it doesn't get dried out, and I like to have a little piece of paper or something to squeeze some out before I start, because it will get clogged as you start to use it. It's coming out just fine. So I'm going to hold this up and very gently, I'm trying not to touch the cup. I'm trying to go really slow, and I'm trying to trail my designer liner. See if I'm missing anything. Looks like pretty good carrots to me. That kind of look like a heart. I want to fix that. I don't want that to look like a heart. Make sure I've got lines where I want them. Now we're just going to let that dry. That looks great. We're going to let that dry, and then we're going to bisque fire it, and I'll show you when we get to glazing. We'll finish the carrots later.